Saudi Arabia has extended manager Juan Antonio Pizzi's contract until the end of the Asian Cup in February 2019, the FA said, a day after the national team claimed victory over Egypt in their last World Cup game. His attention will soon turn to preparations for the continental tournament being held in the UAE at the start of next year. Here's the full story. 5:25 p.m. Australia v Peru team sheets starting lineups for the World Cup Group C match between Australia and Peru in Sochi on Tuesday. 6 p.m. UAE kickoff. Australia 4-2-3-1. Matthew Ryan, Josh Risdon, Trent Sainsbury, Mark Milligan, Aziz Behich, Mile Yedinak capped, Aaron Mooy, Matthew Leckie, Tom Rogic, Robbie Cruz, Tomi Juric coach, Bert Van Marwijk, Ned Peru 4-2-3-1. Pedro Gales, Luis Advincula, Christian Ramos, Anderson Santamaria, Miguel Trauco, Renato Tapia, Yoshimar Yodin, Andre Carrillo, Christian Cueva, Edison Flores, Paulo Guerrero, capped coach, Ricardo Garrica, ARG referee, Sergei Karasev, Russ, and here's the lineups for Denmark v France. 4:18 p.m. Away from the football, here are some images away from the action, including a wonderful pic of Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un impersonators. Men impersonating North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and Russian President Vladimir Putin are interviewed by members of media at the stadium in Samara. Pilar Olivares, Reuters. France supporters react in front of St. Basil's Cathedral in Red Square in Moscow on June 26, 2018. Frank Fife, AFP. Mexico fans play with the ball on a street in Ekaterinburg on June 26, 2018 on the eve of the match between Mexico and Sweden. Jorge Guerrero, AFP. A football column is seen next to apartment buildings outside the World Cup Stadium in Saransk, Russia. Lucy Nicholson, Reuters. Mexico fans stand on a street in Ekaterinburg on June 26, 2018 on the eve of the match between Mexico and Sweden. Jorge Guerrero, AFP. Reuters. Photographers, from left to right, Ivan Alvarado, Murad Cesar, and Matt Childs walk to the World Cup Stadium in Saransk, Russia. Lucy Nicholson, Reuters. A Spider-Man jumps in front of St. Basil's Cathedral in Red Square in Moscow on June 26, 2018. Frank Fife, AFP. A boy holds the Uruguayan flag before the match between Russia and Uruguay on Samara Stadium, Russia, on June 25, 2018. Pilar Olivares, Reuters. 3:45 p.m. Salah, Egypt will back again in 2022. Egypt's principal players have apologized for the team's early exit from the World Cup, with Mohamed Salah vowing to take his side back to the global finals in 4 years' time. Monday's frustrating 2-1 loss to Saudi Arabia in Volgograd, they conceded the winner deep into injury time, extended Egypt's winless run at the World Cup. In 3 appearances, they have yet to register a victory. We want to apologize to all the Egyptian fans who came to support us here in the 3 matches. I know it is difficult for them, like us. Salah, scorer of Egypt's goal against the Saudis, said in a post-match interview. I just want to say that Egypt reached the World Cup after 28 years. Some players here do not have the required experience. Thanks to all of them, and we will back again in 2022. Hector Cooper also spoke about his future with the national team. Read what the Argentine had to say here. 3:15 p.m. Queiroz, referee should have shown Cristiano Ronaldo a red card. Iran manager Carlos Queiroz reacted angrily after a 1-1 draw with Portugal on Monday doomed his team to elimination from the World Cup, saying they had deserved to win. Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo should have been sent off for what he said was an elbow in the face of Mortiza Paralaganji, and Iran should have been awarded at least one more penalty. Queiroz also implicitly criticized the refereeing and renewed his attacks on the VAR system. An elbow is a red card. The rules do not say what if it is Ronaldo or Messi. It is a red card. The decisions must be clear, Queiroz said. Pressed on whether he thought referees treated stars such as Ronaldo leniently, he said, "You need to ask them." Portugal's Cristiano Ronaldo, left, reacts as Iran's Mortiza Paralaganji lies injured on the floor. An Alvarado, Reuters, 2:43 p.m. Nigeria to send Messi and Argentina home, says Achilles the Cat. The omens don't look good for Argentina and Lionel Messi before their final group match against Nigeria on Tuesday, if a psychic cat is to be believed. Messi and his teammates have had a rough time in Russia so far, drawing 1-1 with Iceland and getting thumped 3-0 by Croatia. And it isn't going to get any better according to Achilles the Cat, who has been predicting winners and losers in the tournament from the comfort of the St. Petersburg Hermitage Museum. When the opportunity came to pick between Nigeria and Argentina, via 2 bowls of food placed in front of him with a flag above each, Achilles decided the Super Eagles would win by a nose. Achilles the Cat, that lives in St. Petersburg's Hermitage Museum, chooses Nigeria while attempting to predict the result of the match between Argentina and Nigeria in St. Petersburg, Russia on June 26, 2018. Anton Vaganov, Reuters, 1:43 p.m. Onions Undies. Here's one slightly off the cuff. Graham Onions, the Lancashire fast bowler, is probably regretting taking to Twitter while watching England's game against Panama on Sunday. England were on the receiving end of some roughhouse tactics from the Panama team during the Group G match. The former England bowler was clearly not too impressed with the Panamanians. Onions tweeted that if one of the Central Americans did not receive a red card, he would bowl the next day in Lancashire's county championship match against Lancashire. In his pants. Poor old Graham. 3 Panama players received yellow cards, but no red cards as England went on to secure a 6-1 win and with it safe passage through to the last 16. While Onions didn't actually bowl in the match in his undies, he certainly donned them during the warm-up. Check it out. The moral of the story is, don't write checks your butt can't carry. Yes, unintended. 1:10 p.m. Golden Oldies. At 45 years and 161 days, Egypt's Issam El Hadary became the oldest ever player to play in a World Cup on Monday. The goalkeeper was making his debut at the global finals in the 2-1 Group A defeat to Saudi Arabia. And although the defeat sees Egypt leave Russia with no points, El Hadary will remember the game for a stunning penalty save from Saudi Arabia's Fahid Al Moulad. Ian Oxborough has put together a gallery of the oldest players to appear at a World Cup. Check out the gallery. Issam El Hadary, of Egypt, was 45 years and 161 days when he played against Saudi Arabia on June 25, 2018. He saved a penalty but his side lost 2-1. EPA, 11:35 a.m. Want to know about next stage? Here's our updated wall chart. 8 teams have qualified for the knockout stage, and more will join them in the next few days as the World Cup groups next their climax. In fact, 5 groups yet to have their 2 qualifying teams decided. Goal difference and disciplinary record could come into consideration should teams finish level on points, and we could even see the FIFA organizing committee drawing lots if the most unlikely of scenarios plays out, whereby teams are level on points, goals scored and conceded, and yellow and red cards received. Our online editor Ian Oxborough explains what is happening in each group and who could play who in the next round here. You can check out the actual wall chart below. 11:05 a.m. When you're not watching a game, you can dance. Argentine football fans stumbled into a mini street dance party in St. Petersburg on Monday, joining locals who were keen to show off their Latin dancing skills to their newest visitors. Latin music lovers of all ages unleashed their moves in the spontaneous street dance in the center of Russia's second city capital. More than a dozen couples danced the salsa and shimmied to upbeat Latin songs as passers-by on the road looked on in amazement. You can read the full story here, or watch the video below. 10:05 a.m. Salah disappointment. In pictures, Mohamed Salah, who had a brilliant club football season with Liverpool in 2017-18, had a far less enjoyable World Cup campaign after Egypt fell to their 3rd consecutive defeat in the tournament on Monday. The North African side were beaten by Saudi Arabia 2-1, as they exited the stage down and depressed. Salah did his best later to deny he will be retiring from international football after days of speculation he was not happy to be in Egypt's dressing room and that he had fallen out with the Football Association of his country over a combination of reasons. In any case, the 26-year-old forward cut a sad figure during Monday's game, which you can check out by clicking at this link, or simply by looking at the pictures below. Egypt's Mohamed Salah reacts after Saudi Arabia's Salem Al-Dazari scored his side's second goal during the two teams' Group A match. AP Egypt's Mohamed Salah, right, scores the opening goal during the Group A match against Saudi Arabia. AP Egypt's Mohamed Salah in action with Saudi Arabia's Abdullah Otayf. Reuters Egypt's Mohamed Salah gestures during the match against Saudi Arabia. Reuters Mohamed Salah of Egypt reacts after scoring during the Group A match against Saudi Arabia. EPA Egypt's Mohamed El Midi and Mohamed Salah, right, talk with referee Wilmar Roldan. Reuters Mohamed Salah of Egypt shows appreciation to the fans following his side's defeat against Saudi Arabia. Getty Egypt's Mohamed Salah looks dejected after the match. Reuters Mohamed Salah of Egypt walks off the pitch following his side's defeat against Saudi Arabia. Getty Egypt's Mohamed Salah looks dejected. Reuters Mohamed Salah scores Egypt's first goal. Reuters an Egypt fan with a sticker of Mohamed Salah of Egypt on their phone, before the game against Saudi Arabia. Getty Mohamed Salah of Egypt in action during the Group A match against Saudi Arabia. EPA Mohamed Salah in action against Saudi players Abdullah Otayf, left, and Salman Al Faraj, right, during their Group A match. EPA Mohamed Salah reacts after the Group A match between Saudi Arabia and Egypt in Volgograd. EPA Mohamed Salah reacts during the Group A match between Saudi Arabia and Egypt in Volgograd. EPA Egypt's Mohamed Salah reacts after Saudi Arabia's Salem Al-Dazari scored his side's winning goal. AP Mohamed Salah of Egypt scores his team's first goal during the Group A match against Saudi Arabia. Getty, 9:15 a.m. Brace yourselves for Day 13, morning all. Day 13 of the 2018 World Cup is upon us, and it is a huge one for 7 of the 8 teams involved. But first let's do a quick recap of yesterday's action. Portugal got a bit of a scare from Iran on Monday, but Cristiano Ronaldo's side kept their cool to avoid defeat. The game ended in a 1-1 draw, but it was not without drama as Ronaldo missed a penalty and was involved in a VAR-related controversy, not VAR again. Meanwhile, Spain also drew their final Group B game 2-2 against Morocco, to top the group and book their last 16 match against hosts Russia, who finished second in Group A, but more on that in the next paragraph. To read a roundup of the Group B action, click here. Both Group A matches yesterday were dead rubber since Uruguay and Russia had already made the knockout stages. As it turns out, Uruguay proved too strong for the hosts, beating them 3-0 to finish top of the group and set up a mouth-watering last 16 clash against the Portuguese. You can read our English football correspondent Richard Jolly's piece on Uruguay's win here. Elsewhere, our main man in Russia, John McCauley, was at the Egypt-Saudi Arabia game, which the Arabian Gulf team won 2-1. The game was memorable for the fact that Egypt's veteran goalkeeper Issam El Hadary became the oldest man to play at the World Cup, at 45. To read McCauley's match report, click here. You can also read Saudi manager Juan Antonio Pizzi's reactions here and Egyptian superstar Mohamed Salah's remarks here. Robbie Cruz, Mile Yedinak, Tomas Rajic and Tim Cahill attend a training session at the Park Arena in Sochi. Nelson Almeida, AFP Today's action once again, we have 4 games today. 2 matches kick off at 6 p.m. Australia v Peru at Fisht Stadium, Sochi, and Denmark v France at Luzhniki Stadium, Moscow. Both Group C games are must-win fixtures for the teams competing as they will determine which 2 of them make the knockout stages. The 2:10 p.m. kicks involve Group D teams, Nigeria v Argentina at St. Petersburg Stadium, St. Petersburg, and Iceland v Croatia at Rostov Arena, Rostov-on-Don. Croatia have already qualified for the next round after wins over Nigeria and Argentina. They will be runaway favorites to beat Iceland, who struggled during their defeat to Nigeria after holding Lionel Messi's Argentina to a 1-1 draw. On paper, Argentina are favorites to beat Nigeria. But the Albiceleste have been in poor form in the tournament, while the Super Eagles will feel buoyant after their win over Iceland. They certainly have the quality to beat this Argentine side, given the state of their minds at the moment.